A very warm welcome to a Saturday night special from the home now, once more, of the Lion City Sailors. This is Jalan Besar, where the grass is greener. For the first time in domestic action, it is grass on which we are going to see Singapore Cup action played tonight. It's Lion City Sailors taking on Balestier Khalsa in the second leg of their Singapore Cup semi-final. Lion City Sailors with a 4-1 aggregate advantage after the first leg was played, and they will have designs and even 1 foot in the January 10th final. It's also a farewell to one of their greatest players of all time, and maybe Singapore's, Maxime Lestien, who says goodbye to Singapore this evening. Elsewhere at our Tampines hub, it is a major first leg advantage for Albirex. For BG Tampines Rovers against Albirex, I should say. 4-0, they won the opening encounter. Let's now get the words from the two coaches of our sides in action before this becomes the Maxime Lestien show. First up, let's hear from Lion City Sailors' Alexander Rankovic.
Hi coach, you lead 4-1 on aggregate. How do you make sure your players stay focused and don't take anything for granted tonight?
I mean, how I make sure it's more or less just remind them what this is about. This game is the second leg of the semi-final. We want to reach the final, third year in a row, and it's a very special evening because, as we know, Maxime Lestien is going to go away after this game, and we want to send him with a good feeling, and that's why we have a big responsibility to win this match tonight.
Balestier can be dangerous if given momentum. How important is a strong start to shut that down early?
I think it's very important. I think that the last two games against them and also in the Shopee Cup, the first half, I was not really satisfied the way we performed. Of course, both of those matches we were 2-1 up, but I think in a lot of moments we showed a little bit of, we were a little bit too relaxed, let me say like that. So I think it's the good start, like you said, it's very important.
Tactically, is this a case of sticking to what worked in the first leg, or do you expect a different kind of game tonight?
No, I mean, we have our way of playing and we are not going to adapt. So, I mean, of course, I think the Balestier have to adapt on us. And here and there we have some changes in the squad, but nothing extreme.
Like you mentioned, it is Maxime Lestien's final game for the club. What does he mean to this team, especially on a night like this?
Oof, I can talk about this a very long time, but Maxime is a special player and special person, and for me as a coach to coach him the last 2 years was a privilege. So, I mean, we're gonna miss him a lot. I think the club, the fans, and like I said, not only as a player but also as a person. I mean, his impact on not only us but also Singapore football, it's huge, and I hope one day we're going to have a player like this again.
Hi coach, the first leg was a tough result. What were the main lessons you took from that game?
Yeah, very tough, you know. We lost focus for some times, then the good players punish you, you know. We learned first you need to stop the crosses from them, you know, they deliver very quality crosses, and then second one we need to tight marking in the penalty box. I think these two things we need to solve, and then we need to go attack and score goals.
You need goals tonight, but you're also up against a strong Sailors attack. How do you strike the balance between defending well and committing players forward?
This is no easy task, you know, but we need to achieve our target to go final. We need to score goals, you know, but we need to defend first well. The most important, we defend well, make sure we don't concede a goal, then second one we go attack, score the goals.
What have you told the players about approaching this game mentally?
Mentally is what I said just now, must be strong, must be focused. This is the most important things when they really is good in counter-attack, in crossing, and in the box. They are really, you need only one touch, they put ball in away. You know, it's good players. It's not too well, but this we need to. But it's okay. We never give up. We still hope. Never know. Soccer is game. You never know what can happen. You know, I really think if we score first goal, then anything can happen.
Marko Krajovic knows full well that he'll have to also make sure that that man on his farewell doesn't dominate this match. Easier said than done, because after 4 years here, 130 appearances, the 33-year-old was honored by the club's chairman, Forrestley, earlier on with a special presentation. And this night is going to be an emotional one for a man who has become one of the greats of Singapore football. He will be honored, and he will look to end on a high note once again. 70 goals scored, the highest scorer for this club since privatization in 2020. A Golden Boot winner, a Player of the Year here, a 3 times Team of the Year player, a Singapore Premier League winner, 2-time Singapore Cup winner. Remember, they've won the last 2 installments of this, and of course, a scorer in a AFC Champions League 2 final. Those are just some of the achievements for Maxime Balestier, and the 33-year-old whose contract is up at the end of this month and will be heading back to Europe. He's on 97 assists in his time here and has spoken about wanting to get another hat-trick of assists if he can. He did that in the first leg at Bishan Stadium last time out, so don't put it past him. And remember, in midweek, the match that Rankovic alluded to, there was a 3-2 victory against San United in Shopee Cup action that really ignited the Lion City Sailors season. Special tifos abound this evening for Maxime Balestier. Mohamed Taki is in charge of this one, assisted by Aditan, Mohamed Shafiq Jufri, and Tawfiq Ahmad is our 4th official this evening. In the VAR, we have Jansen Fu with Chan Kwok Wai. So it really is the Balestier show tonight. A goal and an assist in that midweek performance, a beautiful assist for Leonard T. Let's have a look at the lineups. The coach said there were changes here and there. The coaches for Lion City Sailors have had to deal with 2 matches in a week. Anderson Lopez, Song Wee Young, and Hamish Shahin are out. Chris Van Huysen, Lionel Tan, and Si Ndenge come into the side. 3 changes. That's from the last leg of this encounter. Of course, changes also from that Shan United match in midweek. But what a squad they have to call upon, and what players they're able to bring into this one. It looks like 3 at the back for them, and it definitely will be 3 at the back for their opposition. Marko Krajovic speaking a lot about trying to stop the crosses. So in his mind, he knows exactly the way Alexander Rankovic will be playing here. And as Rankovic himself said, they have their way of playing, and it's a highly effective way. Remember, they're 100% in Singapore Premier League this season already. The changes for this Balestier Khalsa from last week's match are these. Bogdan Mandic injured himself, scoring the first goal. Ignatius Ang is out as well. The changes, the good news is back from suspension is the Serbian midfielder Lazar Vujanic, and Darren Tay is coming in. And he comes in as part of an intention to try and stop those crosses coming in. Darren Tay and Harit Kanadi playing out wide. It's a 3-man defensive lineup for them, with Subaric, Madu Mahana, and Tajali Salamat there in the middle. But can Marko Krajovic's side do it? I spoke with him before the match, and he said the key really is to just watch for those key moments, because the talent of the opposition is such that if you give them room in the area, they just need one touch, one turn, and they can hurt you. So his plan is to stop it happening. But for this man, would you put it beyond somebody who, in all the time that I personally have been watching football here in Singapore, and that's for some 28 years or so, may just be among the most talented that has played in all of that time? Maxime Balestier comes into this one, 97 assists, 70 goals. An incredible level of performance from the man who joined from Standard Liège, formerly of Club Brugge. PSV, was part of the Champions League and the UEFA campaign in 2015-16. Malaga, of course, as well. Tin Matic is going to be entrusted with leading the line in the absence of the regular centre forward, the number 9 Bogdan Mandic. So as a result, the number 17, who's been finding his way to goal plenty so far, entrusted with getting this one started. And here we go then, Balestier Khalsa on this grass here at Jalan Besar Stadium. The new look, and it looks wonderful. Just one piece of continental action played on it so far, but domestically this is our first look at the freshened up all natural, or more or less all natural, Jalan Besar Stadium. So the captain's armband then, as always, on the arm there of Madu Mahana, part of that three-man defensive setup. Krajovic spoke about the real threat from crosses, and we saw evidence of that in the first leg of this match after Balestier had taken the lead. It was Bailey Wright on 26 minutes who got on the end of a beautifully placed corner to score the opener. And from then, that point on, it really was all about Line City Sailors. Leonard T added another on 34 minutes. They win in 2-1 up at the break. Shaul Anwar scored on 48, Anderson Lopez on 57, and it really was an absolute rout for them. Could have been more. So with Lionel Tan coming in to the side, we'll be taking a little look at a lineup that sees the three of them, as Bailey Wright has a little bit of tidying up to do, just strung across the middle. Chris Van Huysen, you can see at the bottom of your screen, looking to get on the end of that, but he will have Tajali Slamat in opposition to him at times, but it's going to be Khalid Kanadi most likely pushing up in that sort of position there. Darren Tay on the right side at the back. And this is just the start that Balestier would have wanted. Typically they do start matches well. They come out of the dressing room with plenty of purpose, plenty of intent, and they've come out at the start of this latest Singapore Premier League season fairly well as well. Played 5-1-2, drawn 1, lost only once. But there's a mistake, and here's an opportunity straight away. And that was cool and how about the composure from Mario Mustapic there in goal. Didn't just come out and receive it. He took out two players with a pass. Lovely stuff. That's Kanadi just bringing this in from the left-hand side there to Lazar Vujanic, who's back in the side and a very important returnee, the 26-year-old Serb, who's going to really dictate play from his midfield position. Pushes it out to the right to Tay. So the way Balestier setting up then, Darren Tay, as I said, and Harry Kanadi out wide, the three at the back. Masahiro Sugita, who's been such a good goal-scoring player at the start of this season, with Vujanic in those two midfield roles. And then Elijah Lim and Daniel Go operating in the wide areas. Tin Matic will be the focal point of their attack. They'll be up against that defence that we've seen, which has three men in the centre in Tan, Bailey Wright and Tony Dankovic. Chris Van Huysen to the right, Diogo Costa to the left. Rui Pires with the very impressive Si Ndenge, just to the left of your screen right there, working in midfield. Lestien operating typically off the right-hand side, Shaul Anwar on the other side, and of course Leonard T most likely to provide the sharp cutting edge in the LCS attack. Dankovic really without anywhere to go down the left-hand side there. Diogo Costa. T comes very, very deep. Shaul Anwar furthermost forward, the only player in the opposition half at this moment. Lestien's come looking for the ball. Might just pick it up off Lionel Tan at some point here. Instead, he goes inside to Ndenge. And there is Lestien. First opportunity, and that's an onside. Ball comes in, and here's a chance at the far post. The crossing was what they wanted to cut out, and just a little bit of uncertainty at the back there. But that is the threat, and Van Huysen on the overlap on that occasion there. Looked up, saw three white shirts to aim at, and in the end, it just curled away from two of them. Easier said than done. Marko Krajovic, when I spoke with him pre-match, just talked about trying to close down the wide players, but of course you've got Lestien with the overlapping Van Huysen there, providing a problem. On the other side, you see the threat of Diogo Costa getting forward, very dangerous, high quality coming in from him. So they really can hurt you from everywhere. And then, of course, Lestien, as we can see here, loves darting in field. He just made a little run off screen then. into a position like the one from which he fed Leonard T so sublimely not that long ago. 5 minutes played here at Jalan Besar Stadium. This is Singapore Cup action on this Saturday night. I hope you're enjoying it. Elsewhere, we'll keep you updated on what happens between BG Tampines Rovers, 4 up on aggregate against Albirex Niigata. A little look there at Diogo Costa, looking to push forward on the left-hand side. And now it's Ndenge, who isn't just about that powerful work he does in midfield, he can also score, and they nearly score here as well, because that had to be good for Mario Mustapic, and the punch caused a bit of collateral damage by the looks of things. But again, the sublime left foot of Maxime Lestienne. Soak this in, everybody, whether you support Sailors or not, because we're not going to see this again anytime soon, at least, as Lestienne has graced this country with the quality he brings, in particular off that left foot. But it was very, very nice to hear from his coach, Alexander Rankovic, about the fact that it's not just the left foot, it's about the man, the person, the professional, the work he's done with this football club since he's been here. He paid a very, very rich tribute to Maxime Lestienne. So just beginning to take a bit of control of this match now, getting the ball into those wide areas, but as you can see, Balestier looking to put someone out there whenever they can. There's T, who's closed down by 2 in the corner. And the black shirts of Balestier unable to bring the ball away. Now they have a chance, though. Darren Tate operating down the right-hand side there. Little touch in field plays them into trouble, though, because here's Ndenge with players outside him. Out it comes to Van Huysen. He's got Lestienne, the smart play to his right. Here he is. Will he come inside on that left foot? Looks like he might, but just got his feet tangled up for once there, and that'll run harmlessly behind. Krajovic then with plenty to think about ahead of this one, because as well as stopping the opposition tonight, he's also got to find a way to score 3 goals. And if you look at what's happened in the early stages of the Singapore Premier League for Lion City Sailors, played 5, won 5, a goal difference of 20 already. Just a couple of goals conceded. Scoring 3 could be a tall order. Rui Pires wins the ball, and here is Lestienne, and that was tidy defensive work, as it will always have to be tonight from Lazar Vujanic. Oh, and that's just a little bit of uncertainty and a chance, and it's the opening goal. Oh, that's not the way they wanted to start. Jalan was too good to be given a chance like that. The number 7 capitalizing on a complete mix-up at the back, a lack of communication for Balestier, and that is disastrous for them. Inside 9 minutes, and the aggregate score goes to 5-1 here. And it looked as if Vujanic had done the right defensive work, but Madu Mahana just stopped back thinking the keeper was coming to get the ball. He throws his arms in the air. Goalkeeper came and then decided to go back, and when he parried the first, Jalan, as we know, good enough to take the second opportunity. No missing that one, and it's the Sailors 1 up. So maybe not the prettiest goal you'll ever see, but they won't care here tonight. It's a Saturday night celebration for the Sailors fans, and they are already in fantastic voice here. How do Balestier react to that? Well, they have to come back and they have to score goals, but that will leave them open to counter-attacks. It's a already difficult task has just become colossally hard for them. can always be a risky ask if you do play a ball back across the middle, but it looked as if it was simply a question of a lack of communication for some reason or other there. Captain involved, goalkeeper changed his mind, and here comes Balestier. Is he going to do this all on his own? Looking to get on that left foot, and in the end just leaving a foot in after a nice tidy piece of defending to keep him out. Mario Subaric it was. Foot in there from the 25-year-old Croatian. And as the left-sided player in that three-man defence, he knows he's going to be occupied by Balestier this evening. Balestier's departure, by the way, will have taken a lot of the Singapore football public by surprise. The news came out that with his contract ending at the end of this month, he would be heading back for family reasons and to spend more time with family, not renewing his contract, heading back to Europe. The club will have had more time, you can be sure, to prepare, to put contingencies in place, to plan ahead. But how do you replace a player like the one those fans have been singing about? Such a fantastic talent. Nicely played out to Subaric. He in turn finds Harit Kanadi. Really rocked. They'd played fairly well to start with, Balestier here. They'd been solid without really creating too much going forward. And then an absolute catastrophe for them at the back, leading to the opening goal going the way of Sailors. No goals to report as yet in our Tampines hub between BG Tampines Rovers and Albirex Niigata. Remember 4-0 the aggregate score in favour of the home side there. And also remember, it's Lion City Sailors once again the home side here in matches at Jalan Besar. It's no longer a Bishan Stadium derby, this one, as with the pitch renovation work completed and the grass laid. It's now where we will see Sailors playing their football. First real glimpse then, coming back to fetch the ball, of Elijah Lim. Nicely done from him, but then tidy defensive work there from Sailors to cut things out. Balestier's operating from very deep here, but he can hurt you from just about anywhere. That ball sliced away rather there, off the left foot there of Van Huysen. Coming in from the right-hand side, he gets his head down and looks to give Sailors the width that is so important to their game. So with that much attention out wide, remember it's Rui Pires, the number 8, and Ziendenge wearing 6, who are going to occupy those central roles. Haven't had a chance really to see that much of Masahiro Sugita yet. For Balestier, he's had an excellent start to the season, the Japanese player. 3 goals so far in the Singapore Premier League campaign. Here comes Ndenge. He has got a shot on him, but closed down here, and he carries the ball across the defence and back under attention there from Lazar Vujanic. Little hurry up out to the right-hand side. Van Huysen goes for the early ball, curls a nice one in, and the second one is picked up by Darren Tay, who slices it clear for the time being. Ndege once again, such a wonderful addition to their squad. 28-year-old of German and Cameroonian descent. He's played his football, Ndege, in Germany and Switzerland, and here's a bit of danger because Leonard T is looking to cause trouble. Tajali just managed to hold him up, though. And now they're all in there. Look at those black shirts in defending. It might fall to Balestier, and it does, and it doesn't come the way of Leonard T, who was positioned just on the edge of the 6-yard box there. The Three across the back, remember, to Jelly on the right side of that three with Madhu Mahana and then Mario Subaric there, but really it was all hands to the pumps then with both of the wide men tucking in. That's a bit of a giveaway there, but just about finds its way to Elijah Lim. Haven't seen anything really of Balestier as an attacking entity just yet. Lim with Daniel Go over on the other side. Tin Matic has barely had any touches of the ball early on in this one. And Sugita's looking to put a run together going forward. Here he comes, the dangerous player in this side, and that's a lovely ball in. There's a chance, and is that onside? Flag's gone up on the far side. Keeper probably would have had the acrobatic effort covered, but Daniel Go followed in from his right-sided position, but just got in behind. Lovely ball from Sugita, and at full stretch there wasn't too much more that Matic could have done, and then in applying that touch, well, he was offside. But that's, just as I was saying, the best we've seen of the Balestier Khalsa side in an attacking sense. VAR just had a quick check of that, no goal confirmed. Patient build-up from the back for Sailors, just given a little bit of a threat there, a little bit of a warning, and it was all made by the run-in behind there from the very, very important Masahiro Sugita, the 26-year-old from Japan, who's got an eye for goal, both creatively and in finishing as well. They had a good Singapore Cup campaign, have Balestier. Remember, Lion City Sailors were given a bye straight into the semi-final, but in terms of group stage action, wins for Balestier against Hougang and Tanjong Pagar. They drew with Geylang International. The only defeat they had came against Albirex Niigata, who also, of course, enjoyed a great group stage to get themselves into the semi-final against BG Tampines Rovers. That match, incidentally, still 0-0 in Tampines. So forward comes Lionel Tan across the halfway line. There is Lestienne hugging that touchline as he's done for 4 years now. Arrived for a big fee with one or two questions about what he might do, and then those questions answered almost instantly. His talent became apparent very, very soon. A very distinctive style, of course, that slope-shouldered running style, reminiscent of the former England winger Chris Waddle, maybe. Here's Leonard T, though. He can finish from here. We've seen it recently from him, but he was dragged just a little bit wider than he would have wanted. Scored an absolute beauty in the game against Shan United. Played in by Leonard T, took a touch and then fired it in from a very tight angle at the near post with his second. This is where they're dangerous. This is where they came unstuck last time, albeit from the other side. Corner played in, first header won by the team defending. And again, Marko Krajovic, the coach, will be absolutely fuming at the nature of the goal conceded. They've defended from open play thus far, apart from a bit of a self-destruct. And here's Leonard T, looking to double the Sailors' lead. That one just flicks off the defender behind, and it'll be another corner to defend. Going back to that point, Krajovic will have asked that they defend well from the set pieces. They don't allow crosses in. And in the end, it was a pass of their own that undid their defense. Getting in a tangle and allowing Shaolanwa to nip it inside 9 minutes to score the only goal of this match so far. There's danger because the ball is in, and it's just just wide from Leonard T. Looked as if there were two white-shirted players absolutely free, just about on the penalty spot there. Look at the bodies in the box there. And in the end, it fell to the player who really had just got ahead of the ball, and it was next to impossible for Leonard T. Even his skill set not allowing him to get that one on target. So 20 minutes played here at Jalan Besar Stadium. The drums ringing out. It's a celebration tinged with sadness. It's a farewell to Maxime Lestienne this evening from Singapore football. And so far, there's a score from Tampines. Albirex have one of the goals back that they need. It's Ozawa. 20 minutes played, and they are 1 up. So that's now 4-1 on aggregate to BG Tampines Rovers. Really no need for Sailors to get too hurried here. They lead 5-1 on aggregate. No need to force it, no need to rush it. Yes, they would love to see Lestienne getting on the score sheet. And they would have loved to see him get on the ball there, but it wasn't the best of passes. And then Ndengue in there loses out as well. So had there been a little bit more composure on the ball forward, there was half an opening there for Balestier, although Elijah Lim just hooked it forward really there. Lestienne spoke about the fact that he would love to try and get that hat-trick of assists and take his assists tally up to the century mark. What a remarkable number that would be. In 131 matches, if he could get near 100, 97 alone is spectacular in terms of productivity. 70 goals in that time as well. And remember, he had that incredible season back in 23 when he scored 25 goals in 24 games and had 21 assists. Player of the year in that season. 22-23. He also came up with a spectacular number of goals and assists there. 23 assists and 12 goals, which, when you consider he was seen really as a winger when he first arrived here, his productivity has been simply staggering. And that is what the coach and that's what the club have to try and replace. They really ignited their Shoppy Cup campaign with that victory against a poor Shan United side, it has to be said, in midweek. And they've got a couple of matches now, one home, one away, to see if they can progress. But they'll have to do so with a new look lineup without the services of Balestier, who contributed a goal and an assist on his swan song in continental football in midweek. As for Balestier, they won't be in action again now for quite some time. That will be into January before we see them playing again, unless they can somehow turn this around and get into the final. Even then, you're looking at January 10th. For Lion City Sailors, next match coming up at the end of this month in the Shoppy Cup against Nam Dinh. There's Ndengue operating through that central midfield area that he runs so effectively. With a quietly efficient Rui Pires for company there, the number 8. Van Huysen offered the overlapping run. Instead, they come across the other side now. Diogo Costa hugging that left touchline, as you can see. And this is where they're dangerous, this quick interpassing into the feet of the likes. Oh, there's a ball in there of Leonard T and Lestienne. Charles Almoir always in there, sniffing around. And Taglieli was alive to the danger. Rui Pires. Here's an opportunity. Do we see a shot from range? No, thought better of it. did Lionel Tan. There's Balestier. Quick feet, bit of trickery, but there's nothing out to the right at the moment for Sailors. All a bit bunched up on the edge of the area. And now look at the power of Ndenge getting back in there, accompanying his runner, but deemed to have fouled him, being too physical, says our referee, Mamataki. It was Daniel Go who was trying to get away from him, and in the end the decision was that he just leaned on him a little bit too much. Subaric back to his captain. Darren Tay in field. Vujanic and Subaric seeing a lot of the ball early on. Oh, that's an ambitious ball, and it falls beautifully, that one, for Elijah Lim. It was Matic dropping off the top. Now, quality needed here. Far post, the keeper, though, claims. And that was solid work there from Iswan Mahmoud. Hasn't seen a whole lot of the ball in the early exchanges here, the Singapore number one. Leonard T drifted out to the left-hand side to initiate this attack. He's now got his head down and is getting forward, but lots of black shirts back behind the ball. In fact, every single one of them. But out it comes to the man of the night, Balestier. At what point is he going to illuminate this night with something special? You wouldn't put it past him. A special occasion. Lovely to see the tribute paid to him by Lion City Sailors on the pitch with his wife and children, presented with a special trophy by way of recognition of his incredible achievements here. And his form has coincided with the rise to the top of the game here in so many ways by Lion City Sailors. Of course, at various times, Albirex, Niigata, and more recently BG Tampines Rovers have, of course, provided the challenge to them, the threat, the competition. But they've dominated this competition, the Singapore Cup, over the last couple of seasons, and look as if they very much have one foot in another final for a third straight edition of the Cup. Again, patience from the back. They're all in the opposition half right now. Sailors, bar the goalkeeper. And good composure from the former Socceroo, Bailey right there. No rush at all again. They will pick you apart, will Lion City Sailors. Patience, and then one or two touches of genius, most commonly at the top end of the pitch, where they are so deadly. It's out with Tan once again, and just look at the incremental gains they've made, just nudging the opposition back. Not on the edge of the area yet, Balestier, but there's the room beginning to open up. Ndenge, he'll shoot, he does, and it goes wide off that left foot. We saw a super strike from him the other night, rattling back off the woodwork. He had too much room there. Vujanic couldn't get close enough. And in the end, he just dragged it wide a little bit there. Coming towards half an hour played here in this Singapore Cup semi-final, second leg. If you're just joining us, thanks very much for being with us. It's the farewell show tonight to Maxime Balestier, the superstar of Lion City Sailors, who's playing his final match for them. And he hasn't gone on the score sheet or assisted yet. The only goal we've seen so far came as early as the 9th minute, Shawalamoa, with the goal that's made the aggregate lead 5-1 now for Sailors. Balestier looking to get something going, but two defenders there, sandwiching Tin Matic. Just a slight injury concern to Iswan Mahmoud, who took a little bit of a bang then when that ball came in. So the ball played out by Sailors, who all look as if they're in need of a little bit of hydration, coming across to the near touchline. Is he holding the back of that hamstring by some chance? Let's have a little look here at where they go. Ivan Susak, the potential replacement, should there be a significant problem for Iswan Mahmoud. Opportunity for Coach Rankovic to have a word, get into his players. It was very, very humid at the start of this match, but it's just cooled off a little bit this Singapore Saturday evening. Conditions far better now. Looks as if Mahmoud's good to go. Thumbs up from the keeper. And Jalan, as is his wont, a player who just senses where the opportunities exist. Very often ghosting into the area because he comes typically off the left-hand side and knows how to evade markers, knows how to find the hot spots in the penalty box. He's done it for years now for clubs and country. Leonard T's made a run here and wanted it played earlier, but Tajeli was in the right place, but his header cushioned down and only into danger here. Nicely done from Diogo Costa. There's a nice turn. Can he get it on the left foot? Instead, it's Ndege! Just wide. Over the top, maybe. Wide of the junction of post and bar, perhaps. But again, as we saw with the earlier effort there, he is not shy about getting forward and having a go. Shielded the ball when Leonard T knew that the opportunity was from the man coming in from midfield. And that was always just bending away over the top of the crossbar. There's a tangle over on the right-hand side involving Daniel Go, who is somewhat flummoxed at the decision, thought he should have had that one. It's left Rui Pires down just temporarily, but he's jogging back onto the pitch now, the number 8. So a couple of opportunities to wrap his left foot around the ball for Ndege. It looks a real threat. And there goes Leonard T once again. Can he control? Look to drill a ball across the area, and that's so nearly an own goal. Heart in mouth stuff for Mario Subaric there. He will have been, for one split second, fearful that a ball he was going to struggle to control, because this was smart from Leonard T. Just clipped it in on the half volley, and then for a moment it looked almost as if he'd just cushioned that into the goal, and it goes wide. Now this is where the quality can really hurt them, and this might be where a second goal comes, because it's chaos in the Balestier box, but it's cleared. Diogo Costa plays that diagonally too far, though. Such a good deliverer of the ball. They've got so many players who can hurt you. Here it is. Look at this chance here. How could that bounce? Lionel Tanner was in there, and then stabbing the ball, but not able to make anything happen. It was Bailey Wright. Stabbed it away from the goalkeeper. That was a real threat there, and a real near miss again at the back for Balestier. Still 1-0. He was shielding the ball there, Harit Kanadi, and just a little bit too much pressure applied by Chris Van Huysen. Just stepped on the foot there. You can see that's why he's gone down. 10 or so minutes till half-time, and it's Lion City Sailors very, very well placed in this Singapore Cup semi-final. They lead the second leg by 1-0, came into it with a 4-1 aggregate lead, and it will take something pretty exceptional for Balestier Khalsa to turn this one around. Against the reigning cup holders, the two-time cup holders here. Over the last two stagings of this competition. They have a lot on their plate on various fronts to Lion City Sailors. But they are looking to make this competition their own, really, in recent times. Pressure there applied by Lion City Sailors. It just spins out off the boot of Ndenge there, but for the time being, Balestier are struggling to really string together anything cohesively going forward. But they will come forward, they will still believe. Marko Krajovic's side will always believe. And they have had a couple of moments, caused a couple of minutes of concern. Here's a ball forward looking for Matic, but really he's a lonely figure up top at the moment. The only time they really look dangerous is when Masahiro Sugita is able to push on from his midfield role and offer some kind of support. The wide men are very, very wide, and they've also been pushed back fairly deep by Lion City Sailors, with both Diogo Costa and Chris Van Huysen getting forward at every opportunity. There's the left-sided player at the mention there, that's Diogo Costa. This time his chip ball forward was a little aimless. Darren Tay helps it forward, but that's great defensive work from Rui Pires. One back in that tussle. Opportunity now to get forward from midfield. Nice work by Vujanic. Out to the left now. It comes to Harit Kanadi. Inside now to Mario Subacic. They don't really want this momentum to slow, but it has rather. Taglieli on the ball. When those two wide men tuck in, it's a five-man white wall at the back, and it's difficult to penetrate with the shield of Rui Pires and Ndenge in front. But here's a ball in, just coming in off the right-hand side there was Daniel Go, but he drifted offside in looking to get around the back of that three-man defence. Looks like Dakovic got a bang on the head maybe in that little exchange. Just have a little look at the run there. You can see the only way he could get in there was to come around the back and just offside. And that's what it was. Raised the foot trying to get on that and just clipped the side of the head of Tony Dakovic. Bailey Wright for Lion City Sailors. No captain's armband this evening. That honour, of course, goes to the man playing his farewell match, Maxime Lestienne, just for this evening. Oh, lovely work from Diogo Costa. And he goes through two more players. He's got Leonard T outside him, who's in the area. Charles Amois, Lestienne's lurking with intent. Van Huysen on the edge, and it's still not cleared, but he thought there might be a player behind him there who could do better there, Rui Pires. And then the two midfielders back, hunting really as a pair, but putting too much pressure on Daniel Go, who has always shown a tendency to try and pin his ears back and run with the ball when he can. And then between the two defenders, that was deemed a foul. So in the 40th minute, Balestier desperately trying to come up with something by way of a goal that they can take into the halftime break, something that they could build on in the second half. Because right now they would have to score a flurry of unanswered goals to have any kind of chance in this semi-final. Vujanic just clipping the ball out to the right-hand side. Such a tidy player, the Serbian. Still only 26 years old. His return from suspension, a major boost for Marko Krajovic for this match tonight, especially given the quality of that Sailors midfield. Talking of which, And Dengue in there trying to win the ball, and they do get there in the end. Is that onside? Here comes Jalan while Leonard T is free across the area. Oh, and he didn't put enough on the cross, and he knows it. And T knows it. We might have looked back there to see if he was actually onside there, but he timed his run very well. He was onside, and now Jalan will know that we're just a little bit more weight on that pass. Leonard T is in. But as it is, they're just as dangerous from these situations when you have got that man and that left foot on the ball. Balestier swings it in, looks for the near post flick, and no way of flicking that. Instead, Tony Dakovic came in and could only head the ball behind. Well, there's a foul given against Bailey right there, who was tangling with Matic before that ball was played forward. No real need to do that. He was way inside the opposition half. That was it, really. I mean, the player just went to ground, put his arms around him, yes. And it was enough contact for Matic to feel it, to go to ground. And Bailey had a few words to say about that. Oh, they were hurried up there. Just took a little bit too long on the ball. Did Sumaric, and it is a Lion City Sailors throw, and you can't be offside from it, which is why T was in a dangerous position there. Now they need to be careful at the back. We've already seen one calamity defensively with the ball played back. Misunderstanding between a combination of players. It was Vujanic who played it back in the 9th minute, and then Madu Mahana let it run. The goalkeeper thought about coming and didn't, Mario Mustapic, and in the end, it was Shawalanwa nipping in and saying thank you very much as he scored the only goal so far in this match. Again, and Dengue too strong in the challenge. He'll have to win another one, though, because that was a good little comeback at him from Sugita. There's room for Vujanic to just give the ball and go. No foul, play on, says the referee. Oh, and in the end, he attempts a half-hearted shot from range. But a little flurry there from Balestier, looking a little bit better. That was the challenge by Lionel Tan there on Harid Kanadi, who went down under it, but they played on. And Dengue finding another pocket of space. Van Huysen down the right-hand side. He plays a very early ball. The keeper stays. Leonard T. That was a very important block, because it was a first-time cross shot from the striker that could have caused problems. Three minutes of time added on at the end of this first half. Just checking in on developments in Tampines, and that's getting interesting. It's now 2-0 by the looks of things. There it is, Shingo Nakano, 44 minutes played. Remember, that began as a 4-0 first leg deficit for Albirex Niigata. They've halved that deficit just before half-time. No such luck for Balestier Khalsa here, though. They have seen their deficit extended from 4-1 to 5-1, so that margin, 4 goals now here. Coming towards the end of the regulation 45, 3 more minutes at least to be played. And they haven't really looked their fluent selves at the top end of the pitch. It's the third game in a week for Sailors, so of course that may be a factor in this. It's good play that by Matic. He just made a nuisance of himself and caused a couple of problems at the back, and Iswan Mahmoud's unable to get across, so sloppy as they come in towards half-time. And Alexander Rankovic, you can tell, or you will know, would not be happy if they conceded from this. That was a needlessly conceded corner. And a rare opportunity for Balestier to get a few players in the box. Three, now 4 black shirts in the area. But it was Bailey Wright who got up, and as that's clipped back in, well, that was a pretty aimless one there. Iswan Mahmoud clears, and he might just look to go long. He does, under a bit of pressure. Oh, and here's danger, because who's the player you would not want picking it up there? Balestier, no, and he's just tried to slice the ball out wide left and not succeeded. So a let-off there. Quick thinking from Iswan Mahmoud, and decent delivery as well. He was hurried up there, was Vujanic, and in the end Darren Tay has to scamper across to just retrieve. Just coming towards the end of the second of the 3 minutes of time added on at the end of this match, half I should say. And there's a nice little run by Matic, but easily read and well dealt with. Oh, there's Balestier with a little twinkle-toed action, but he's very deep, wanders his way through midfield. And it looks as if it's going to have to be a second half swan song, maybe, from Balestier. Maybe he's got something saved up for later. Van Huysen inside to Lionel Tan. They are so comfortably in control of this match as they come towards the half. No need to force anything. Sailors, they will seemingly now go in to the break with a 1-0 lead and a 5-1 aggregate advantage, unless Shaolanwa wants to add to that tally. Solid defending by Subaric. It'll be a throw-in, and presumably, if they have time to get this in play, the last action of this half. No time, and that is indeed the blast of the whistle that tells us that this Singapore Cup tie is going very much the way of Lion City Sailors. Shaolanwa's goal inside 9 minutes is the one that separates the sides. A mix-up at the back and an unfortunate one from Balestier is the reason why we find ourselves coming to half-time with a scoreline here of Lion City Sailors 1, Balestier Khalsa 0. Welcome back to Jalan Besar Stadium, where on the grass and under the lights this Saturday night, it's Lion City Sailors with a 1-0 halftime lead, which means that they are 5-1 up on aggregate in this Singapore Cup semi-final against Balestier Khalsa. It's a night which is tinged with sadness for their fans as they're saying goodbye to Maxime Lestienne. But as he put a bit of pressure on in the 9th minute of the match, there was a calamity at the back for Balestier. The ball in, or the ball back by Vujanic didn't seem to be causing too much trouble, but for some reason, maybe known only to goalkeeper Mario Mustapic and Nadu Mahana, neither made any attempt to get there. And when you have a player as sharp as Shawal Anwar around, well, there can only be one result. And at the second attempt, he steered that between the goalkeeper and the post, and that was the scoring opened up in 9 minutes. When you come into a match trying to stop balls in from wide areas and let in one like that, it will have frustrated their coach. But when the balls did come in, well, there was a difficult chance. Just over the top there. The ball really was behind Leonard T as he tried to come around his marker and get on the end of it. And we saw a couple of efforts in the course of that first half from Tien Denge, the powerful and highly influential midfielder for Lion City Sailors. When this one came back, Leonard T decided to help it on. Just keep an eye here on the midfielder who swung the left foot, but just couldn't keep it on target. And that one just swung away over the top of the bar. His second left-footed attempt of this first half. That came on 33 minutes. Quite honestly, not too many clear-cut chances for either side from that point on. If you take a little look at the story of that first half, well, it was 7 attempts, but only 2 on target for the Sailors. As for the away side, well, they're finding it hard here. They created 1 effort on target and just 1 corner, which came right at the end of that first half, to the 4 taken by Maxime Lestienne so far. Get the feeling that there may just be something special in the second half from the departing Lestienne, but we'll find out soon enough. Let's also remind you that we went into this expecting to see 2 one-legged, maybe, semi-final results, but thanks to Albirex Niigata at our Tampines hub doing something special in that first half. That one's very much now on. It was a 4-0 lead after the first leg for BG Tampines Rovers, but thanks to goals from Ogawa and Nakano, Albirex Niigata look as if they're very much back in that one, having halved the deficit at half-time. Those goals from defender Nozomi Ozawa, and then, of course, from the attacker Shingo Nakano, breathing new life into that tie. Are we going to see anything similar from Balestier Khalsa? Well, find out after the break as this farewell to Maxime Lestienne continues. The score, of course, here, Lion City Sailors 1, Balestier Khalsa 0. Welcome back to the new look Jalan Besar Stadium. Not to do with where the fans are so much, but of course the grass on which the players are playing. Halftime here, and for the Lion City Sailors fans, well, they have been wonderful in terms of the pre-match tifo. We saw a farewell to Maxime Lestienne, the superstar. You know, it's not often that a big money signing arrives and over-delivers, over-performs, but it's fair to say that the Belgian has done so. A wonderful performance by him during his time here. And for the fans of Balestier Khalsa, there's the feeling, I suppose, really they're part of something that's maybe even bigger than the football match. So often in football today, individual narratives are forced upon us, and somehow or other we're told to focus on that more than on the team and the match, but it just feels right tonight. Van Ramselaar, of course, is another superstar player who will be looking to, of course, step, as will the key attack-minded players for Lion City Sailors, up into the massive void that will be left by Maxime Lestienne. They really do have so much talent in this squad when you consider the options they have on the bench in the squad. But then again, they are fighting on a number of fronts, both continental and domestic. There is the man in the middle of your screen there, wearing the captain's armband as an honor on his farewell performance tonight. Captain Lestienne. Are we going to see something special from the number 17 on the evidence of what we've seen across his career here in Singapore? The answer would be, yeah, very, very likely. 70 goals in his time here, 97 assists already. And in comes this side for the pre-second half. Words from the regular captain, Bailey Wright, and a pat on the back of the head. Jalan scored the only goal of this game. If you're joining us for the second half, taking advantage of a mix-up at the back for Balestier. He nipped in and scored to take the aggregate in this Singapore Cup semi-final to 5-1. So here we go then. It's Leonard T and Jalan inside the centre circle as Lion City Sailors look to ease their way through to the January 10th final of the Singapore Cup. And we'll keep you updated on what happens in the other semi-final, which has become a whole lot more interesting thanks to two first-half unanswered goals by Albirex Niigata at the home of BG Tampines Rovers, who had won the first leg 4-0, so that's 4-2 now on aggregates. But let's focus here on this special Saturday night at Jalan Besar Stadium. Lestienne over on the left-hand side at the start of this second half, just getting a little bit too tigerish in the tackle there. Haven't seen maybe as much of the influential attacking midfielder Masahiro Sugita as the Balestier fans would like, but he hasn't really had the opportunity to get forward too often. Just made one really incisive forward run in that first half. What we did see a lot of in the first half was a lot from Daniel Go here, the number 13. He's been, oops, calm down. Diogo Costa getting in a little bit of a tangle there with the right winger for Balestier, and the officials have to just step in and defuse that situation. Referee Mohamed Taki just calling for a little bit of calm. It's one of those situations where you do say to yourself, how much can you do in terms of shielding the ball without it being an obstruction? A head was dropped in there, a hand was raised, but nothing too serious. Unfortunately, common sense has prevailed here. So that's Diogo Costa just pumping the ball forward into midfield, looking to clear the lines, and that was a little bit sticky at the back there before Taglieli steps in to tidy things up. There is Sugita. Everything happening down the right. Darren Tay. He came into this side. He had to come in fairly early in the last match between these two sides. Just to run through the sides here, 3 at the back, and that's one of them. Mario Subaric playing with Madu Mahana and Tajeli Slamat in that 3-man defence. Darren Tay on the right-hand side, and in front of him, Daniel Go. Over on the left-hand side defensively, Harit Kanadi. They've been put out there by coach Marko Krajovic in an attempt to try and stop the supply line from the wide areas that is such a big feature of Lion City Sailors' attacking play. Through midfield, Masahiro Sugita's got Lazar Vujanic, the Serb, for company, and then it's Go on one side, Elijah Lim on the other, and Tin Matic, the central attacker for Balestier. Sailors lining up defensively with 3 as well. Lionel Tan coming in for the match, Bailey Wright and Tony Dakovic with him at the back, Chris Van Huysen on the right, Diogo Costa on the left, Rui Perez and Sien Dengue in midfield, with Lestien on either of the flanks, switching with Xiao Lanhua, Leonard T, part of that very fluid front 3. And it's been a solid enough start to this second half for the side that needs to score and then keep on scoring. Oh, what a touch that was. Almost came off for Lestien, but there's an opportunity for Vujanic. What a tackle through midfield. Rui Perez gets up and plays a good pass as well into Xiao Lanhua. T out on the right-hand side. Lestien's left. Oh, and the flag is raised. Excellent tackle by the number 8 in midfield there, Rui Perez for Sailors. After a beautiful flick, nearly came off from Maxime Lestien. Lovely clip ball out. Again, looking to get Daniel Go involved, and again a tangle with Diogo Costa, and again there's some afters. The officials needed to step in between them a little earlier there, I feel, because those two have got a little bit of a simmering spat going on here, and this was needless, because there was no doubt there was a foul, and then just a little bit of ugliness and clumsiness and a tangle, and that's really when you need to just separate the players. So, an opportunity for Sugita to swing one in, which he does, flicked on, blocked, and then the second effort fired wide. But that was half a chance there for Lazar Vujanic. Scrappy to start with. He reacted first, but couldn't find any kind of angle and bended in at the far post. So the brighter start to this second half by far made by the away side. 5 minutes gone, but they need to be scoring soon. The drums pounding away here in Jalan Besar Stadium. All hands on deck as usual for their wonderful, noisy bunch of fans, bringing plenty of atmosphere. And they've promised something special post-match as well, I think, in terms of the farewell for Maxime Lestien. We saw a great tifo earlier on. We saw a presentation on the pitch to Maxime and his family. Oh, that's a nice ball in, looking for Lestien. Can he get around his man? No is the answer, because as he's done all the way through here, that was a good scurrying piece of defending from Tajeli Salamat, who's always been a high-quality performer wherever he's played. Lestien, they're all onside here. There's a ball in, and there's a half-struck shot. First real signs of attacking intent here from Sailors, as we look at the man who's done a good job as part of that 3-man defence for Balestier. He wasn't involved in the mix-up that led to the goal that was conceded early on, but has put in some really important blocks and has read the game very, very well from that central defensive position. Lionel Tan. And again, a little bit of space in midfield. No great surprise there, and no surprise that it was tidy from Rui Perez to Sien Dengue, who just took a bit too long, but they get away with it because Leonard T's on the ball, and he shovels it out now to Lestien. He had the overlap from Diogo Costa, chose not to use it, but it comes back now to the number 17, to the captain. And there's a player down injured in the middle of the pitch, so out it goes. Good sportsmanship then from the Sailors. Might be Elijah Lim, who's just come in field and... Oh, he just slipped after making that interception there. That's the problem there, a little bit awkward there. Extended that right foot as he went down and needs a little bit of treatment. Marko Krajovic back in his third stint with Balestier Khalsa. Somebody who knows football in Singapore inside out. Of course, came here as a player. Had some very successful times relatively with Hougang United. But it's about this man tonight, Maxime Lestien. Huge occasion, an emotional occasion for him. He had his choices, he said, when it came to the move 4 years ago. Made the decision to come here to Singapore. And he said it was the right decision in so many ways. Said this is the best club he could have joined, Lion City Sailors. And in return, Alexander Rakovic, his coach, said he was the best player that he could have had for his 2 years that he'd been in charge now of the football club, Rakovic. Not just in terms of the flair he delivered on the pitch, but his work rate, his professionalism around the football club, and he will be missed. Not surprisingly, a lot of the play is going out to the left-hand side. He wasn't there, actually, Lestien, that time. He dropped into a central position, which he's still occupying, as they're looking to really crowd the edge of the area. And Dengue back tidying up as he does so well. Now they swing play to the left-hand side. To Diogo Costa. To Lestien. To Costa again. Can he get the Belgian in play? Oh, and that just comes back now to Rui Pires. But they're beginning to turn the screw now, the Sailors. Apply the pressure. Ball clipped in far, but that should be the goalkeepers, and no problem for Mario Mustapic there. Putting the squeeze on, the press coming now from the Sailors in the final third, and still they press, but that's neatly done, coming out from the back until possession surrendered. Dakovic in field, Rui Pires. Oh, and there's a goal for Segasumi for BG Tampines Rovers, which makes them breathe a little bit easier. And that'll take it to 5-2 on aggregate. And still Lion City Sailors look to put a bit of pressure on. They'll want to reward their fans with something special here tonight. On grass here for the first time in domestic action. And here comes another of their super talented stars. Bart Ramselaar, the Dutchman, about to enter the fray. And that change maybe just a little bit delayed here. Let's have a look at what happened here. Leonard T involved in a little tangle there, and he goes down. Maybe a knock of knees on knees, although he's clutching a little bit lower down the leg there. Up he gets. It's just a little bit untidy through midfield again. Difficult really to maintain focus here at times for Lion City Sailors, very much conscious that they want to rest themselves after a very busy week. So confirmation then of that change for Lion City Sailors. Players going out. Ndenge, who's been very, very busy this week. As well as Lionel Tan. And of course, as we saw, Bart Ramsala coming in. The other one, the always effective, always impressive, Hami Shaheen, the number 16. Just waiting on that change to be made. They've had to wait a long time for it to happen. Lionel Tan, I think, is the player whose time will be up. Along with this man, maybe a last touch on the ball for Ndenge there. It seems to be the numbers that have been prepared. But play goes on, and this is going to be a moment of danger because Sugita's on the burst through the middle, and then finally it is fired out of play by Tan, who might just turn around and leave the field now. Let's get confirmation of that because these are the changes. Ramsala and, yep, Hami Shaheen coming in. Yes, it is. And Ndenge certainly. Yeah, and the other one to go is the number 5. So the number 6 and the number 5 leave the field, and they're replaced by number 16 and the number 10, Bart Ramsala. That will mean just a little bit of a rejig at the back. Just as if Van Huysen's just dropped in there to what might become 4 at the back. They might play the 3. Let's have a little look at how that shapes up. Just see where Hami Shaheen goes. But in the absence of Ndenge, yeah, it looks as if he's gone into that midfield role. And here's an opportunity to take advantage of that rejig. Matic's ball in, and really tidy defensive work coming in at the back there. Diogo Costa. It's interesting to see just how they're lining up. Now, it's over on the right-hand side. Balestier looking to make something happen for Leonard T. Can't do so initially, and he might get the ball back, but doesn't. So, again, a rejig at the back. 4 by the looks of things, with Dakovic and Bailey right in the middle. Diogo Costa on the left and Van Huysen on the right. That would seem to be the sensible play. Ramsala operating in front of Diogo Costa on the left-hand side. And Hami Shaheen keeping Rui Pires company in the centre of the park. Balestier on the right again. His preferred position, really. Gives him the opportunity to cut in on that left foot and cause chaos. But they've just fired a couple of balls at that defence in the last couple of minutes. Balestier, who see an opportunity maybe there. But here's huge amount of room on the right-hand side. And here comes Chris Van Huysen. Still on the ball. Puts a lot on that. Out wide to Balestier. He's got loads of room here. On the right foot. Clips it back. And that was always going to be a difficult one. Coming away from goal. Falling away from the ball. not really the easiest of plays there for Chavalamwa. Still managed to get his head on the ball, but very, very difficult, running away really further out than the penalty spot to get anything going. It's going to be a question of just clear your lines there for Mustapic, who does. And now an opportunity again for Maxime Lestienne. Shahin's ball to Lestienne. He looks to go through the gap. So desperate, I'm sure, to produce something. Yet another magical memory for the Lion City Sailors fans tonight, if he possibly can. He has illuminated this league. He's such a modest player. Asked about his favourite moments, special moments, he just said there have been so many, didn't want to pick one in particular. Ramsalah feeding the ball out to the left. Diogo Costa, here's danger! And that looked like it might be the moment. And it looks like a painful moment there for Maxime Lestienne, who came onto that and was brave in getting the shot away, knowing that he was going to take a knock in doing so. Nicely worked this, and it's always the run he makes. Here he is onto the ball, and in the end, it was good defensive work there because Harit Kanadi tracked him in and then just put enough of a challenge in there to put the man of the moment off. Just taking a little look at that ankle. There's Lestienne, and Harit himself came away with a little bit of a bump in that challenge, but it was a brave one, and it was a necessary one. Good defending. So the minutes tick away. The fans will be gazing on this player, trying to soak up every last moment of enjoying the presence of somebody who, with his distinctive, sometimes shambling running style, his incredible ability with the left foot to just about do anything he wants, and his eye for goal, his selflessness at times, is he going to give us something special?
Substitution for Balestier Khalsa, number 11, Harit Kanadi, is replaced by number 20, Khalil Iyad.
So Balestier with the change then. And Kanadi had to go after that little knock there. Fudil Iyad coming in. That will be a straightforward like-for-like change. 24-year-old dropping into that left-sided defensive position. So the game just drifting a little bit. We've seen a couple of moments in the second half that might have suggested that Maxime Lestienne's going to do something special. Balestier started the second half with a few moments of promise, and of course we've seen a rejig defensively by Sailors, but they really can't afford to do what they want at the moment. They're so far ahead on aggregate. It's just a question now of these tantalizing little subplots as Bart Ramsalah looks to get busy. Powers away from his man. He's got Diogo Costa out wide. He's decided to just slip the ball in field, and can he get on the return? He's still going, and now it's going to break. Lestienne, is that the moment? Oh, it's just saved. Palmed away by Mustapic when it looked as if Maxime Lestienne was going to mark his farewell game with what he typically does. looking to just lift it into that far corner, and the keeper held his position well. There was curl on the ball, and he read it well. Changes again for Lion City Sailors. That's Leonard T making way right now. And coming in is Anderson Lopez. Wow, what a player to be able to throw onto the pitch when you bring off Leonard T. And Chris Van Uysen's out as well. And coming in is Akram Asman. So, all that happening as Balestier prepares to take a corner. Oh, that's not a bad header. Got quite a lot on that, more than you'd have expected it to there. Bailey Wright. So, as if the Lion City Sailors' attacking threat wasn't enough, we've just seen the introduction of Anderson Lopez, the 32-year-old Brazilian, the J-League superstar, two-time Golden Boot winner. 101 J1 goals in the best league in Asia. That's the quality they've just stuck on the pitch up top. That's the first time we've really seen Fudi Liad in action, and he has ended up committing a foul over there. Akram Asman, who's enjoying a good season. A player that we're now going to be seeing operating over on that right-hand side. So both lineups rejigged, but one constant is Rui Perez, number 8 there, just keeping things ticking over in midfield. He's got Hami Shahin for company in there now. Now, what's this from the right-hand side? Akram's ball in. Anderson Lopez can't get there. And Tajeli just reminding us he's got a bit of pace. Of course, more typically, we used to see him play out in those wide areas, and he could just bomb up and down all day long. These days, providing an experienced part of the back three, but that was a little let-off there in midfield for Vujanic, just caught on the ball. No harm done as Balestier come forward down the left-hand side. There's Fudi Liad again. Oh, and here's the chance through the middle. Shawal Anwar, does he add to the tally? He's taken it too far. Goalkeeper did well, but it's still alive. Still Shawal Anwar. Anderson Lopez, surely they score here. Does he finish? Was that a handball? It had to be. Doing the goalkeeper's work there was Mario Subaric, but of course that is as deliberate a handball as you will see. They were all over the place there the minute Shawal Anwar was allowed to scamper through the middle. An interception, and that touch there just took it too close to Mustapic, who did well initially, but Shawal retrieved the situation, and then Anderson Lopez worked it onto the left foot, and he was going to ground, and there he is, stuck out the right arm there. Did Subaric, and that is as obvious a handball and penalty as you will see. Goalkeeper was actually back and in position and may have felt that he could have made the save there. So, who else on his final appearance looking to score a 71st goal? The top goal scorer for this club since it privatized back in 2020. The captain on the night, the superstar, Maxime Lestienne, against Mario Mustapic. Oh, he went for the Panenka. Only Lestienne, only on this night, surely only with a scoreline like this would have attempted that. And you know what? I have a feeling that the goalkeeper knew exactly what was coming. Well, one way or another, we said he was leaving us with a memory that would linger, and that's not quite what he wanted. But smiles all round as maybe he stayed totally true to his footballing character and decided he would try and sign off with something spectacular. It backfired, but it's not harmed his team. With under 20 minutes to remain in this one, it's still a 5-1 aggregate scoreline in this Singapore Cup semi-final. Will Balestier have a chance to make amends? You know, he might just do that. Here he is. Will it be an assist? Ramsala, can he get a shot on target? Well, it's just deflected wide. And surely the referee saw that. So Balestier will jog across and deliver from the corner now. Played in the Dutchman. And there, it just came off the knee of Tajeli there. Off the thigh. Balestier hooks one in under the crossbar, clawed away by Mustapic. No foul, says the referee. It stays alive and they come out. Vujanic looking to pick out one of those three players in the opposition half, but it's comfortably handled. And how about this? It comes alive again. Katsuyuki Ishibashi scoring in the 72nd minute for Albirex Niigata. That one now 5-3 on aggregate. Still time for them to come back in that match. Well, all the real drama happening in our Tampines Hub tonight in these two semi-finals. This one really has felt like a foregone conclusion from the moment inside 10 minutes that Lion City Sailors scored through Shawalanwa. Really, since then, the talking point is simply Maxime Lestienne. Does he score? Should have done, really. Decided to chip a Panenka penalty instead of placing it and drilling, and as a result, passed up an opportunity, so far anyway, to score in his farewell appearance. Again, the quality. How do you replace that quality from the wide areas? Swinging that one in with the left foot. Now, here's a left foot as well. Uses the right, Diogo Costa, and in the end, trying to manufacture some kind of a header. Bailey Wright flicking it up in the air. So, are we going to see a couple of these subplots develop? Maybe a consolation goal along the way for Balestier here. Maybe something from Lestienne. We'll keep half an eye, of course, on what's happening in Tampines. We pretty much know the identity of one of the Singapore Cup finalists. Yet again, it looks as if it's going to be Lion City Sailors. Victorious the last two campaigns. But who will they face? Comfortably dealt with at the back by Datkovic that time. And now, with shrill appeals from the travelling fans, a free kick in a promising position here for Balestier Khalsa. It was a little bit clumsy, really, there from Bailey Wright, all over his man. Physical for sure. So what can they create from this position here? There's a nice angle to this one if they're looking to put a ball in to somebody who's running onto it. Tin Matic looks as if he wants to have a say in this one. He's over this with the right foot. What are the options? 4 becomes 5 in the wall now. And here's one Mahmoud organising it, but it's the left foot instead of Lazar Vujanic, and not really enough on that to trouble Mahmoud in goal. They set up for the right foot, and in the end, just curling it around the outside of the wall. On target was Vujanic there. Pires out to the ever-industrious Ami Shahin. They move now to Balestier, who looks to clip a delightful ball through it. He's going to try and do the fancies, the showboats, the ostentatious. Why not? Wants to produce, wants to conjure up something that can memorialize this evening. Still the drums sound, and they do so loud and proud here. A raucous backdrop to a game that's become somewhat quiet on the pitch, in all honesty. Just the occasional sporadic outbreak of action. Both sides pretty much know that this is a results now. Score may change, may vary by a goal here or there, but the outcome will be the same. Had to hurry across there and defend because Akram Asman had just drifted upfield there, and it might just turn into an opportunity now for Sailors here. Down goes Balestier on the far side, and you can be pretty sure he's going to be looking to whip something special into the area here. So what can he conjure up with that left foot? 6 white shirts in the area. Oh, it's a lovely ball, lays it in there, but well defended. Ramsala finds Diogo Costa looking to create something from this side. Every chance they work it back to the right, and that looks like the play here, because look where Balestier is. He's got a bit of room now to line up his man, Fudil, and he gets it on that left foot. Now he hits it far post. Is it an assist? Almost. Dakovic there was the target, and he's only able to head that one over the top. Anderson Lopez arriving at the far post just a little bit late there, but the ball was over the top anyway. Oh, how about that? Just turning away from trouble there was Vujanic. Ten or so minutes remaining here at Jalan Besar Stadium. As a contest, this one feels just about over, certainly in terms of the two-legged aggregate. Maybe on the night things could change if Balestier Khalsa can come up with something. They only trail by 1. That goal coming as early as the 9th minute here. The surprise probably, though we haven't seen more goals, in particular from Lion City Sailors. If you look at what they've been doing in Singapore Premier League, 22 goals, I think it is, already across 5 matches played. They scored 4 in the first leg of this semi-final, but just the 1 so far tonight from Shawalamwa. That's lovely play, that. And that could turn into something special. Ramsala rolls it into the path of the man of the night. And then it's Balestier's ball, far post, looking for Ramsala again. He keeps it in play somehow. Keeps it alive. And then hits it straight into his own man there, Diogo Costa. Play goes on here. It's getting a little bit scrappy. Balestier again. Now, has he got some magic for us? It's on the left foot. Can he finish? No, he just scuffs the shot. And Mario Mustapic is grateful to just pick it up now and take a little bit of sting out of proceedings. He had the room for the shot, he just didn't, uncharacteristically by his standards, get some quality on the strike. Looks like we're going to be waiting for a couple more changes from Balestier in a moment. And they might be making them now as that ball just runs harmlessly out of play. So we are seeing the arrival of Bogdan Mandic, number 9.
Substitutions for Balestier
Scored the first goal of this tie, funnily enough. Put Balestier 1-0 up at Busan Stadium in the last leg. And Ignatius Ang is also back in action against Lion City Sailors. Players going out, Tin Matic, so it'll be a straight swap up top. And Daniel Go as well. There's Lestien looking to get Akram Asman into play as much as he can down the right-hand side. Asman's actually stayed up there, so Lestien's just tucked in on the wide touchline here. Ramselaar, who's really had a lot of fun since he's come, and he's had the freedom of the park really to do what he wants. Here he is again, turns, chips the ball in for the man who'd stayed upfield. Akram Asman with the shot straight at the keeper. It was a tight angle, difficult to achieve anything from there, and Mustafic was well positioned. Nicely played out from the back there into Sugita, who dwelt on the ball. He's found it hard to really impact the match too much as the Japanese, but there's still time left. Although now it's the always industrious Ramselaar down the left-hand side, drives in past Darren Tay, and they'll switch it out to the right-hand side again to Akram Asman, who's seen a lot of the ball since he came on as a second-half substitute. Just about 5 minutes remaining of regulation time here. We've seen a missed penalty from Maxime Lestien, but no goals in this half. Anderson Lopez looking to work a 1-2, can't get through. Are we going to see a final flourish from the man saying goodbye tonight? Here he comes, Lestien in the area. Oh, just slides to ground under a little bit of contact, but surely not enough there from Fudil there to justify the penalty shouts. See the idea, and there was just a little bit of contact, but never enough really for Mohamed Taki to point to the spot. So things really winding down here. Quick check on the score from our Tampines Hub. It's still BG Tampines Rovers 1, Alberex Niigata 3. So still 5-3 on aggregate there. So it does look very much as if it's going to be these two great rivals coming face to face in the Singapore Cup final. BG Tampines Rovers and Lion City Sailors. At the moment, that's the way things certainly seem to be shaping up, because we're running out of time in both matches now. There's an opportunity. Anderson Lopez trying to make something happen. Still going. Don't give him that kind of room. And in the end, he drills the ball on the left foot across the area. ...32 years old now. The man who scored so many J-League goals, of course. An amazing time with Yokohama F. Marinos, taking them to the title. And we are now seeing the moment when there is a farewell, and it is the moment for Maxime Lestien. His time with Lion City Sailors comes to an end. He will be replaced by the veteran Hafiz Noor, and this stadium rises to its feet as one, and it looks very much as if there's going to be a guard of honor involving players from both sides now, which is a lovely touch as the 33-year-old bids farewell to Singapore football. One of the finest imports, one of the finest players we've ever seen in this country, and with 70 goals and 97 assists to his name in the 4 years here. Maxime Lestienne with the man who saved the penalty. There was nothing Mustapic could have done to allow that penalty in. The Panenka chip from Lestienne to try and end his spell here in cheeky fashion. But there will be tears, you can be sure of that. A hug for his coach. And it's Hafiz Noor who actually takes on the captain's armband as well for the remaining moments in this match. Hugs all round for coaching staff, for players, for those who have been absolutely privileged to have Maxime Lestienne in their number. So a man who says it's always about results and achievements for his club rather than individual landmarks leaves without a goal or assist tonight, but he leaves knowing that his club is en route to another Singapore Cup final, knowing that the job has been done tonight. Arguably it was done at Bishan Stadium when they met in the first leg. And as Darren Tate gets to his feet, it looks as if he's going to have to make way right now. We really are in the last knockings of this match this evening. So, arriving on the scene then is Shabil Hisham.
Substitutions for Balestier, Khalsa, number 2, Darren Tate, replaced by number 4, Shabil Hisham.
Elijah Lim is out, and Ifas Shaban as well is on the scene. Not really much time for either of those players to make too much of an impact here, as Lopez tries to control a difficult bouncing ball. We are now into time added on at the end of this. 3 minutes of that.
The official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time.
So as a contest, this one probably was ended in the 9th minute when Lion City Sailors went in front. It really killed the tie in terms of the aggregate scoreline, and Balestier Khalsa might come away from this saying, well, ahead of the challenges to come when they resume action in the Singapore Premier League, this is a decent performance, something to build on, and there have been some strong individual showings. It's been a good defensive showing. The only goal they conceded came from a mix-up at the back. They haven't really been opened up that often by Sailors here tonight, and Marko Krajovic will feel that the three-man defence has done a solid enough job. But there's a chance, and that's sliced dangerously across the face of goal. Had to make some kind of a clearance there, did Subaric, but was never really in control of that after that burst down the right there by the evergreen Hafiz Noor. So maybe we are to have one late goal in this one. It's not Lestienne to swing this one in. Oh, and there's a chance. Bailey right in there, making a nuisance of himself, and it has run out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Balestier there. So we're into the final minute now of the minimum of 3 added on by the 4th official. And the man of the match performance is going to be going the way of Jalan, the goal scorer here the man who separated these two sides on the night. The man who, remember, in an incredible season 24-25 scored some 27 goals. Just reminding us that he does what he does, and he does it so very, very often. It wasn't to be a night of a goal or assist celebration for Maxime Lestienne, but you can be sure that the post-match scenes will very much focus heavily on the departing superstar. For the rest of the players, well, they have to lay head to Shopee Cup action against Nam Dinh, before then, of course, a cup final to play. And here, once again, is Hafiz Noor on the left, but no time to do anything because the whistle blows, and this one comes to its conclusion here. Mohamed Zaki heading back to the center circle. The fans still singing the name of Maxime Lestienne, who was given a guard of honor as he left the pitch. And now we come to the post-match scenes, which will focus time and again as Marko Krajovic has a word or two with a man who brought so much to Singapore football. The hairstyles changed down the years for Lestienne, the style and the flair remain constant. But life goes on, of course, for this Singapore football club, Lion City Sailors, which has brought in so many star players over the last few years. They've seen their investment rewarded with silverware, and of course they'll be going in search of more of that when they find themselves in the final of the Singapore Cup. The full-time score, though, on the night, Lion City Sailors 1, Balestier Khalsa 0. So this was the way things played out here. The game decided by that moment of mistake at the back there. Manu Mahana, the goalkeeper, who was in the right, who was in the wrong. It was a Bermuda Triangle played there by the midfielder, the captain, and the goalkeeper. And Jalan said, thank you very much, stepping in there in the 9th minute. Yeah, they won't want to watch that again, but we've seen it a couple of times now. Vujanic, the player, wants to pitch the goalkeeper, and of course Manu Mahana. From that point on, it really became a question of would we see a goal for Maxime Lestienne, and that was him coming in off the right-hand side, well defended there. Udil it was who got in and got the body in, the foot in the way there as that came back. We've seen him score from these positions so often. Famously, of course, something kind of similar in a Continental Cup final. And then there was the opportunity, of course, to try and get played in here. This was maybe the best chance, but the man who denied him was Mario Mustapic, and he was to do it one more time. That's an area where so often you see Lestienne with the left foot just curl that in at the far post, and that was his idea, but just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper who got hands to it. And then there was this moment. Jalan picking off an errant pass at the back. A heavy touch gave Mustapic a chance. He retrieved it. Then it was Anderson Lopez looking to score. And keep an eye here on the defender with a bit of goalkeeping then by Mario Subaric, giving you the most clear-cut penalty you will see. Deliberate handball it was. He was on the ground. He was flailing. And in the end, the instinct was to put the hand out there. And so this was the moment. Or was it? He went for the Panenka. And know your players. Mario Mustapic just kind of knew that Lestienne wouldn't settle for anything bread and butter, anything ordinary in terms of a penalty. And was all smiles when he said, yeah, I guessed right. And then it was a substitution just before the end of the match. The end of an incredible career for Maxime Lestienne, one of the finest Singapore football has ever seen, and we wish him all the very best on his return to Europe. So at the end of that one, 17 attempts, 7 on target for Lion City Sailors. And they were comfortably the better team. And they knew that that was effectively won in the first leg. So our thoughts began to turn to who would they play in the Singapore Cup final. And the answer to that is, after a really entertaining match at our Tampines hub, it will be, as we kind of thought it might be, BG Tampines Rovers. They went into that with a 4-0 first leg advantage, but they saw Ozawa score, Nakano score for 2-0, but then Segasumi scored an important one. Ishibashi did, and another for Albirex Niigata, but 3-1 on the night meant it became a 5-3 aggregate. The Lion City Sailors players, of course, saluting their fans, and we now know that those fans will be witnessing Sailors against BG Tampines Rovers on the 10th of January here at Jalan Besar Stadium on the grass in the Singapore Cup final. Make sure you catch that one. For now, though, it is all about the man standing on his own, but not walking alone, Maxime Lestien. They will sing to him all night long. You can be absolutely sure of that. This party will continue. And he will leave us with so many treasured memories. The Tifos have been out. A special chant from the fans tonight. Applause ringing out around Jalan Besar Stadium. But this is where we will leave this party as it's just getting started. And remind you, our full-time score, 5-1 on aggregate, thanks to a scoreline of Lion City Sailors 1, Balestier Khalsa 0.